Whew. Here we go. Here we go. Get in here. Get on in here so I can talk to ye. Gonna talk to ye for a minute. Gonna talk to you, tell you something about life, I guess. I don't know. Woo! Dang, boy. Woo! I'm telling you what. Have you ever drank? This is not a promote. I'm not sponsored by anyone. But have you ever drank a 0 sugar Canada Dry? Dude. Oh my gosh. Listen there. Oh. It has a bite. It has spice. And everything nice. Now I know that over the previous few episodes I've kind of had a bit of a head cold type sound. And you can probably hear that right now. And I hate to admit, but it has got me once again. And I'm gonna do my best to not sound like a snot-nosed little brat. I'm gonna do my best to bring you a production that is pleasing to the ears. And to do that, I might have to sniff a time or two. I'm sorry if it bugs you. I don't want to bug you. I want to entertain you and make you happy. But I might have to sniff a few times. So please. Look over it. Hopefully that was the last one. Oh, man. Dude, how was your Christmas? How was it? Mine was fantastic. You know, like that, I don't know, most of the time I usually have a few days off around the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, what have you. Well, I have had a few days off with this one. And man, it's been nice. It went by too quick, as always, but I got some nice toys. My parents, ever since I was but a wee little tot, grinning ear to ear, they have made a big deal about Christmas. And by doing that, they have made it to where I also really look forward to Christmas. They made it a big deal. I remember one time when I was a kid, we came down the stairs to behold the tree that Santa had just graced with his presents. And you could, no pun intended, presents. He had graced it with his presents or presents. But you couldn't even see halfway up the tree. There were so many presents. Now we grew up, well, like, I don't know, middle, I don't even know. I don't want to put no labels on us. We were just getting by. We were doing what we thought was right. Give me a break. But birthdays were celebrated. They weren't over the top. They weren't ridiculously huge. Some people came over. One of the aunts or mom made a cake. We got a few gifts. It wasn't anything insane. Like, we weren't spoiled, I don't think. We got by. We ate at home a lot. It was a pretty big deal to get a Mighty Kids meal. That rhymed. I'm about to start rapping. But it was a big deal to get a Mighty Kids meal when I was a child. It wasn't like the thing you did every night. So what I'm saying is, Mom and Dad would like save up and strategically, we're eating beans. We're eating stinking pinto beans every night this week to give them babies the Christmas they deserve. That was exactly what I heard my mom say to my dad. And Dad said, "Oh no, we're going to pay bills. Can't pay bills and presents." Mom said, "Soup beans every night, fried taters from the garden, soup beans and well water. That's what we're going to raise them on. That way we can get them a million presents for, for Christmas." So, I said all that to say this. Mom and Dad throw a heck of a Christmas. Next time you're around them, try to butter them up, and I don't know what you got to do, but get into the family somehow, and just, I'll see you on Christmas morning because it's a blast. They do well with it. And dude, this tree was like stacked. I'm telling, like, maybe my child mind read it wrong. Maybe it's remembering this Christmas wrong, and I'm lying to you. I hope I'm not. I don't want to lie to you. I want to tell you the truth. But if I remember correctly, the Christmas presents were stacked up over halfways around the tree. You know the O'Keefe's Working Hands hand balm? I'm pretty sure me and Hogan was putting that on our hands so we could endure all of the presents we had to unwrap. I was doing finger stretches. I was like, ugh, man, shaking them and like, woo, you a little sore over here, Daddy. And I remember developing tactics to opening presents, to cut down on opening time and save my fingers. I remember that. Had to try hard and had to really focus. And like, there's a trick. Like if you got a clothing box, you know a clothing box, as soon as you get handed it, it's light. It's squishy. It's like cardboard, but squishy at the same time. So you know it's clothes. And the tactic to tape that is each square corner. So this side, 4. You know, boom, 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 boom. And it's just a little piece of Scotch tape. You put the clothing article, the article of clothing into the box, stick the lid down over it, and tape. You're good to go. It will not come open. Now, if you're a lazy parent who doesn't love your children, you just set that under the tree. But no. Not my mom. Not my mother. She would take this box and then wrap it. She was like, gonna make these, I think she done it like out of anger. She's gonna make these kids pay. Her fingers gonna bleed by the time they get done unraveling these gifts. So you had to get the paper off, and then the tactic was you couldn't get it with the fingernail trying to get up under the edge of the Scotch tape so you could peel it off. Because when you finally would get under there, the tape, is cut at a zigzag cut on either end from the cutting mechanism on the Scotch tape. And you would finally get your finger up under the edge of under the Scotch tape and pull, and it would just flake off. It would just stinking flake off, dude. It wouldn't even take the whole piece of tape with it. Just one little corner would 45-degree angle, round biscuit, bologna cut tape is what would happen. And then you're back to square one, so you start trying to with your fingernail, and your brother's like 3 presents ahead of you. You're falling behind. And your dad's looking at you like, yeah, I don't know if that boy's going to turn out. I don't know if he's going to make it. And you're getting nervous. You're like, everybody is watching me struggle with this. I've got to hurry. I don't have a knife. I'm 8 years old. They won't let me have a knife. I probably had a knife when I was 8, honestly. I think I did. Probably didn't have a knife when I was like 6. But I developed this tactic. You stick your fingers. Now you gotta be kind of tough for this. It's not for the faint of heart. You can't be afraid of a paper cut. You cannot. And you stick your fingers up under the edge of that, in between the box itself and the lid. Away, as far away from that tape as you can get it. And you just, bam! You slide it down through that and whack! Right through that tape, and it'll snap it loose. It'll pop it. It'll cut it. Like a karate chop. And it cuts that tape. Now, you only have to do that on 3 sides. One, if it's like a shirt, you just one, and you just rip that shirt out of there. But you want to make sure she didn't slip something extra in there on you. You want to make sure, so you got to do at least 3. So pop, each side, then the bottom. Bottom one's a little harder because it's a rectangle. And a rectangle got 2 long sides and then 2 short sides. So you're not going to be able to develop as much momentum to snap through that Scotch tape. I think what played to my advantage was Mom did not buy actual Scotch tape, the Scotch brand Scotch tape, nor 3M. Nothing fancy. This was, you're at the checkout line and you see a value pack of 4 great value Scotch tapes. They're more brittle, I think. Maybe that played to my advantage. I don't know. But that was the present opening hack. Tell you a quick story here that was funny to me. I always look back and just laugh and enjoy this story. My wife, she's, my age, and then she's got 3 siblings younger than her. The youngest is, he's like 10 years younger than her, or 11. So it's a substantial gap. They spaced them out. And we were living in a trailer here at this very location. And they had decided to do Christmas at our house. And Lindsay, my wife, was like, what are we going to get? What are we going to get Jack? This is back before we built the house and we were all in the trailer. And I said, let's get him a pocket knife. And she was like, I don't know about that. He's too young. And I said, if you ever backtalk me again, I will go outside and start eating gravels and barking at the neighbors. And I think she believed me, because I would do something like that if somebody, I'm real bad I don't like to be told what to do. So I'm probably overreacting there. I definitely didn't say that, but it's a funny thought. She said, he's too young. He's too young for that. We can't get him a knife. And I said, oh, yes, we can. He is of age. He is of pocket knife age. He's 8 now. He should have a Bowie knife. Or if he was actually probably 9 or 10, I don't know. Let's get him a katana at the flea market. One of the ones you buy and you're like, family, like you pretend to be a samurai in the backyard and you hit the tree with it one time and the handle snaps off. The blade goes flying through, misses your brother by like an inch. He was of that age. But I picked out a pocket knife. Might I say a pretty good pocket knife. I thought it was a good one. And I think we had like a $25 budget for each of them. For the family members, the kids, everybody we were buying for. So I went and bought the little dude I can't remember. It was just like a cheaper Browning or Gerber, something from Walmart. I'm sure it was put together by poor little Chinese kids. But it was all that we could afford. And I give him the knife, and he's over there shredding that bad boy open. And it was in one of the packages, not a box like a knife should be in, the kind that you on the end, and then the two little flaps, and then it falls out, and it's wrapped in that paper, that real thin paper. It was not in that. It was in one of the flat, mushed out packages with the thing up above it that said, best knife ever. It was kind of a cheaper one. But as you know, if you've ever bought a new knife, bought, is that a word? I think it is, bought. If you've ever bought a new knife, you know that they come out of the package sharp. And I seen him opening the package, and he's over there kind of struggling. I was like, hey, man. He looks up at me, and I said, be careful with that. And he was so young at the time, so he's obviously, he's changed a lot. He's not, how kids are. We were all dumb when we were kids, and I'd done the same thing. I'd done the literally take this story, except change me for Dad and make Jack me. I'd done the exact same thing. I was like, don't cut yourself. And he goes, oh, dude, I'm not going to cut. I've never cut myself. Never cut myself. And I was like, okay. Time goes by. I open one, somebody else is opening a present. And I noticed Jack sitting over there like this. He's like, sitting there like holding his hand. Kind of got his hands together like he's an old man. Got him, cupped. And he's like, got his head down a little bit, and he's looking side to side. And I was like, I already knew. And I don't like to be an I told you so kind of fella. I try not to do that, especially anymore. But I couldn't resist it. So, I got away with it. Jack did not. I busted him. I was like, hey, Jack. He goes, I was like, did you cut yourself? And I said it quiet because I didn't want anybody else to know. I didn't want to make like a big spectacle. So I have to give myself some credit there. I wasn't like, yo, he cut himself. Hey, I told him not to. Nothing like that. I was like, hey, Jack. And he like looked at me. And he was sitting close. That's why we were having this conversation on the side. And I was like, you cut yourself? And he was like, yeah. I was like, is it bad? He's like, no. I was like, I just kind of laughed and we went on. Now, when I done it, we were like big into extreme sports. If you're a millennial, or even early Gen Z maybe, or late Gen X, I don't know, whatever the generations are, you probably remember the huge, massive extreme sports explosion, the radical surge of extreme sports, skateboarding, rollerblades, BMX, all of that. It was huge for a while. And of course I was into it, as was everyone else. So I liked skateboarding. We loved snowboarding. Unfortunately, we don't get enough snow here in Kentucky to do it reliably. You might get to go shred a little powder a couple times, nothing serious. And they had got me some snowboard gloves, and these things were sweet. They got me a Rough Rider pocket knife, I think. They got me a pocket. Yeah, I got the pocket knife. I opened it, and they're like, don't cut yourself. And they had also got me some gloves. Well, these gloves were just my size. And on the back, the hand of them, they had like this dude just shredding on a snowboard, bombing a hill. And I opened that knife and I just shut it right on my finger. Right through the skin it went. And I calmly opened it back up and I was like, I don't care that I've cut myself. This is not painful. This is not a big deal. I don't want my dad to lecture me about cutting myself. I know I've made a mistake here. I don't need your TED Talk. Because it's almost like he wanted you. It's almost like they wanted you to do something like that. So they could be like, hey, everybody, they did the thing I told them not to, you know. So it's bleeding. Like I can't really hide this. And we're probably 90% done with presents. And I just opened the gloves like prior to the knife. So in my child mind, I'm like, they're going to see this and they're not going to let you pack this knife. They're going to give you a lecture about not cutting yourself. And I was like, I looked at the gloves and I was like, oh, thank you, Lord. You literally just gave me camouflage for this fingy cut. I grabbed the gloves and popped that little plastic thing that pop it apart, you know, to kind of cut your fingers because almost like fishing line. I jammed my hand in there. So there I sat in jammies, completely warm hands, jammied out with gloved hands. And I don't want to lie to you, but I'm pretty sure my mom was like, look how much he liked them gloves. He loves them. That boy loves them gloves. Look at him wearing them gloves. They were over there sitting there proud. Done good. He got a pair of gloves. He loved them gloves. Gonna wear the tar out of them. I was over there like, I got you. I didn't get busted. And I still have the gloves. I don't have the gloves. They're long gone. They were small. But that was something. Did you get anything good for Christmas? My favorite gifts is probably I'm getting to where I like really nice single items. Like, instead of buying me 20 flannel shirts from Walmart, what have you, I would rather have one really nice flannel shirt. Same thing with pocket. Same thing with anything. Like, I don't want a bunch of. The only thing I want a bunch of is like, not really nothing. 22 bullets, maybe. AR bullets, so I can just blow them, you know, blow through a whole box. That's the only thing cheap I want that I can think of. Maybe some other things. But over the years, I've gotten quality over quantity. That's what I want, is quality over quantity. Because you get the cheap stuff, you use it, and you're like, it's almost there, but not quite. So then you never use it, and you end up finally getting the good version of the thing. And then you're like, I should have done this from the start. So that's what I've been doing over the years. I've just been getting more like high quality equipment. And I told mom, she, like I said, she gets up, she's all in for Christmas. And like, she's gonna buy you stuff. Whether you tell her what you want or not, whether you give her ideas or not, like, you're going to get regardless, the money will be spent on you. And I always feel guilty getting that much stuff from anybody, but it's a nice gesture, and I like that they like it. They like getting us this stuff, you know. So we have fun with it. And I told her, I was like, and she always tried to keep it real even, you know, same amount of money, same quantity. which doesn't work. It doesn't work out. Like, it's hard to do, but she would make a way to make it work if you gave her enough options. So in my mind, I was like, if I give her just an astronomical amount of things that I can think of that I would like, she'll be able to work that into everybody else's stuff that they want. So I give her a wide range of just, cheap stuff that I'd kind of been looking at, all the way up to expensive stuff I'd been looking at. Not that I expected it at all. I don't expect any of it. It's a gift. It's like a blessing to receive that stuff. So I give her a wide range of things that I would like to have, or that I plan on getting myself, because I'm an adult. I can buy whatever I want. And one of the items, had no intention of her getting this for me, but I was thinking, if she's got some other expensive stuff for the other kids, maybe this will work. If not, it's fine. Like, I don't care. I'm going to get it on my own time and money if you don't. So there is this brand called Stormy Cromer. Once again, not affiliated. I just like their stuff. And I found them because, I don't know if you've heard of the brand Filson. They used to make really, really high quality, like flannel jackets and shirts and hats and stuff. And I reckon they've kind of got bought out, and I reckon they've went downhill a little bit. So their quality went downhill and their prices are still trending up. Well, I found Stormy Cromer, and that's Stormy, the way you would spell it, and then Cromer with a K, Kromer, I think. And they make these cool little hats, man, that have like a leather bow tie on the front, and it's got an ear warmer you can pull down over your ears. And they also have like the flap hats with the tie on the top. And I love old-timey stuff. I kind of got away from that earlier in life, but I'm getting back to where I just want old stuff made in America. I love that kind of stuff. It's just so much better. And natural materials like cotton and wool and wood, bone, ivory, steel, iron is cooler than plastic this, plastic that, polyester. And I'm wearing polyester, but I wear a lot of cotton stuff. That's what I prefer these days. But I have been wanting a good orange hunting vest. Not some crappy polyester Walmart special for $5. Like, I have that. There's 20 of them in my pocket. I wanted a good one. I was like, I want one that's kind of warm. I want a dense, good one. And I find Stormy Cromer, and I'm scrolling through. And sure enough, guess what Stormy Cromer's got? A blaze orange, solid wool, handmade in America vest. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I ever could have found that I could want. So I was like, if she doesn't, I'm going to send it just to see what she's going to do. But if she don't get it, I'm going to get this thing. Like, I want to get one of these good vests. And I want one of the hats too. So I sent her both. The hat was like $50. The vest is like $180 or something. Now, I know that's a lot of money. I get it. Inflation and whatnot. But like I just said, I've got so many cheap polyester bullcrap Chinese made this and that, everything. I don't want that. I want one good one. One good wool jacket. One good wool vest. One good pair of boots that lasts me for years, instead of 2 of this and 2 of that, 3 of these because that one might fall apart. I'm done with that crap. I would rather spend $100 on one good thing than $20 for a cheap thing that I don't even like it. That I feel bad about it because it came from China. It aggravates me. Buy America, dadgummit. I think the thing is, like, if you're buying U.S. made stuff, obviously you got to have some money. I'm not saying like wealthy or anything, but you got to have some kind of income. You can't be a college kid and buying that kind of stuff. So I understand the need to buy like the cheap stuff. But I'm at the point in my life that I have the cheap stuff and I don't want it anymore. I want nice American-made stuff. So, sure enough, I opened it up and she got me that vest, man. And that thing it's a Cadillac. It's got pockets on its pockets, underneath its pockets. It's warm, dense, stitched together, dadgummit. It's cool. It's cool. It's like a piece of American history to me. Some old dumb orange vest, but it means a lot to me. And I will have that thing till kingdom comes. Because I'm pretty sure they got lifetime warranties on like tearing stuff up. But yeah, that's what I like. That's probably my favorite present. It just meant a lot. Because have you ever worn a $180 vest, hunting vest? I've not, or I hadn't. I wore the little cheap ones with the stupid little Velcro thing right here. And then you Velcro it, and the thing is like you could fit it around a 55-gallon bucket. Aggravates me. Now I know there would have been options for like probably Browning or some other companies that have like the little game pouches on the back and sides, the little shotgun holders, probably in the $50 to $100 range. But China, polyester. I didn't want that. The only thing I wish it had is a game pouch in the back. I wish it had the big opened up flap that's like sewn in the middle and swoops down, or like the angle. Oop. So I could put squirrels and rabbits in there. Or birds if I ever go bird hunting. But it don't, which is fine. I still really, really, really like it. But yeah, that was probably my favorite Christmas gift. I had something I wanted to talk about here, and I think I wrote it down that way I wouldn't forget it. Oh, okay, let's go. I could talk about this. I can rip something to shreds on this because apparently I'm the only person that has any logical sense with this and that can figure it out in my head that this is the stupidest thing ever. Like, how am I the only one that gets this? If you shoot like, I can't even believe I have to explain this. If you shoot a broadhead into a piece of cardboard, it's going to make a hole in that piece of cardboard the shape of that broadhead looking at it from the front. Okay? It's going to make a hole like that. Okay. If you shoot that same broadhead through a sheet of rubber, the hole is not going to be the same as the cardboard hole. You shoot that same broadhead into a heart. Which hole do you think that heart hole is going to look like? Is it going to knock a big chunky hole like that out like it did the cardboard? Or is it going to knock a slit out like it did in the rubber? It's going to be like the rubber. Stop falling for these stupid broadhead commercials and companies that shoot a milk jug and it drains it faster than the other broadheads. Like, how do you not get that? A deer is not one solid brittle thing full of water and then another solid brittle thing that the arrow has to penetrate. No, it's hair. It's elasticy, rubbery skin. It's sinew. It's meat. It's bone. It's lung. It's heart. It's lung. It's bone. It's meat. It's skin. It's hair again. That broadhead cannot physically chop a hole out of the deer. Do you remember the toxic broadheads? Oh my God. Like, as soon as I seen it, I was like, how does people not understand that is not going to knock a hole like that all the way through that deer? Do you think it's going to push it out like a paper puncher? like a hole punch? If you shoot a piece of cardboard, those 3 stupid toxic things are going to knock out the whole thing. It'll do the same thing with even rubber. You have to literally trowel out an entire canal through a whole deer and push out like a squeeze tube thing to make that same shape all the way through it. It's not going to do it. And I've been seeing these stupid tooth of the arrow broadheads, and I've shot them. They're great broadheads. They're going to make a great cut. But these broadheads do not make a wound channel. They're not making like this big wound channel like a bullet. The bullet is going so dang fast when it hits like the gelatin stuff that they tested on that it's blowing it out in a big blob, and it makes a massive wound channel. Your arrow is not doing that. It's not blowing out a huge wound channel. So if you shoot a piece of paper or if you shoot a piece of cardboard, it's going to look like a big square with these tooth of the arrow broadheads because of the shape. It is not, you're not trying to make a big channel through the deer. You're trying to make a slick, precise cut through the deer. You want as little of drag as possible. Look, let's drag. Here we go. Let's drag, more drag, more drag, more drag, more drag, more drag. It's not going to go through. You get it? You want as little drag as possible, and you want a sharp broadhead to make that cut through there. And you want it to hold up through the bone and meat and hair and grit that they have on them. You're not trying to make a square hole all the way. It's impossible. It's not gonna work like that. You're not making wound channels. Why do you want some? Look, maybe there's a chance that you make a really good or a really bad shot and it just has this big hole that clipped some extra vein. I don't know. And maybe the chance of that helping you find your deer is probably like if you shoot a deer, you're probably either going to find it or you're not. It's not like, oh man, that broadhead really saved the day. And like they're selling you on that. That's what they're trying to do. Maybe a gut shot with a 2-inch rage is better than a gut shot with a like a Magnus that's cutting 1 inch and by a 1/2 inch. Maybe. But I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. I've hit them bad with the rage. Crappy blood trail. I've hit them good with the rage. Crappy blood trail. I've hit them good with the rage. Awesome, insane blood trail. I've hit them bad with the Magnus. Good blood trail. I've hit them bad with the Magnus. Terrible blood trail. Like, do you see where I'm going with this? It's not like that. They're trying to sell you on these stupid broadheads that, like, they're selling them like they're bullets. Like they're creating this massive wound channel through the deer. Like, you're not trying to make a massive wound channel. You're trying to put a slit, cut stuff loose, and cause massive, like, hemorrhaging. That's what you want. You want them to hemorrhage. You want them to bleed. And I can promise you, tearing a big hole versus cutting a nice, precise hole, the precise cut, the clean cut is going to bleed way more than the tear. Because the tear will activate that sticky stuff. You know when you get a cut and like seconds later, or like just no time at all, it's like getting tacky and it clots up. It's its purpose. It recognizes the damage, it clots it up, and stops the bleeding. Now, tell me what damage is easier to recognize. A precise cut or a big tear. The tear is going to shred that stuff apart, and it's going to be like, burp, burp, burp. Send as much of that sticky crap as we can to clot that up. A precise cut, it's only going to tear in a perfect world, an absolutely perfect blade edge would cut through that stuff and not even disrupt that to cause that reaction. That's impossible because, maybe we could invent some kind of knife that could do that, like a splitting atoms or something. But what I'm saying is a really keen, like sharp broadhead will always make them bleed better than something trying to plug out some big hole, like big wound channel. Go get that big wound channel. No, you don't need a big wound channel. Dude, you're trying to bleed it to death. You're not trying to tear it to death. Just shoot good, practice. I said it on one of the other podcasts. More than anything, shot placement. Things go wrong. Obviously, they duck. Shoot them when their head's up. Don't shoot them when their head's down. Take good distance shots. Set a limit for like 30 yards if you want. I don't know. Whatever you want. Whatever you're confident in doing, you know. But good Lord, like how dumb. What a dumb statement about a wound channel with a deer. And an arrow. A broadhead. Like what? I don't even understand like what their logic is. These broadheads are devastating. They cause massive blood trails. Not because of that hole. The hole they pressing out meat is not going to make the meat bleed more. Cutting the meat will make the meat bleed more. Watch this. Watch. Look at my forearm right here. I'm not bleeding. You see that? Look, I'm pressing the meat. I'm not bleeding. You see that? Doing that's not going to make you bleed. Like if I cut a little hole right here in my forearm and stuck my finger in there and like was wiggling it, this is gross, but I was wiggling it between my forearm muscles, pushing out a big canal the size of my finger, that's not going to bleed as much as you think. What would make it bleed more is sticking a blade in there like that, in the same space, just one time, in and out. Would bleed way more than slitting a hole and just jamming my finger, making a wound channel. A bullet wound channel is so catastrophic and fast that it blows stuff apart. Like it's ripping and shredding and making this massive hole. Like, look at the gelatin when they shoot it. It'll be that big around. Arrows are not doing that. They're only, like a hunting arrow is probably only going 280. So, I'm getting off my soapbox. Use logic, maybe, next time, instead of just, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy for a broadhead company to say something that stupid. Oh, another thing, right, because I can't talk as long as I want to today. It's not going to be a massively long podcast, but I'm about to have to split. But one thing I seen earlier, I was scrolling down through Instagram, and I scrolled across a dude that was giving an archery tip. And when the video first starts, he's like at full draw, like this, and his finger pointing straight at the target like that, not even touching the trigger. And it was on deer and deer hunting, if you want to look it up. I don't care to call them out, whatever. Hey, buddy, whoever you are, you have target panic. You're smacking the ever-loving crap out of your trigger and shooting a 3-inch group at 20 yards. Like, come on. Why are you some ambassador telling people how to do stuff if you can't even squeeze the trigger? Which the tip he was given was not related to that. But good Lord, I would not want them showing me going. Smacking the trigger. The tip was he was like spraying this or rubbing this arrow lube so he could pull his arrows out of his target. Never done that. I always just yank them out. Or you can shoot a bulldog target. The arrows come out of those awesome. Unless you can't shoot a broadhead into it though, unfortunately. But yeah, he's like, I can't stand seeing these big authorities on like the big hunting personality and big hunting influencer. And you watch them pull triggers and they're like a kid going, ugh, like jerking it and squinting and stuff. I'm like, as soon as I see that, I'm like, there is nothing you can say that I'm going to listen to now. Like you've completely ruined my trust in you. So yeah. We started out spreading the love of Christmas and being merry, and we have just spiraled into me griping. But that's it. I appreciate you It's good to check in on you. Sorry I haven't. I wanted to make one like right before Christmas, I think it was, or that time after Christmas, but I just couldn't. I couldn't pull it off. I tried. I wanted to, but I couldn't. But this Friday, even though I'm sick, I was like, I gotta pull one off. I want to try to do one almost every Friday throughout the year. That's my big goal. I want to do one like almost every Friday. You know, holidays and stuff come up, or events that make that hard, but that's the plan. So we appreciate you. Thank you for checking in. We'll see you in a couple days. I might do a bonus. Here in a few days. Bonus episode. That's it. Mwah.